right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Teal House Coffee and Bakery, hello to you. Falco's Forge, what's up, man? Abe, 9CB, C9B, month retreat. Not sure what you mean by that. If you're going on a retreat for a month, I'm not sure. But welcome in. Right now, okay, month retreat right now. You're gonna have to give me some more context on that, man, but welcome in. It's sometimes right. Good evening to you as well. Thank you so much for being here. Wanderer 5813, thank you so much. Guys, please smash the like button on your way in. If you guys end up getting any sort of insight from the live stream, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Renee, what is up, my friend? Much love to you, Renee. It's good to see you, man. Ryan Henson, welcome in, man. You're on the road for 5 hours and still catching the show. I appreciate the support, Ryan. Really do. All right. Michael Mitzel, good evening to you as well. And Big 2956, happy Friday. So, guys, we are really at a key decision point here for Bitcoin. And so, long story short, Bitcoin has broken above the value area high of our range that's going on about 2 weeks now, a little less than 2 weeks, and we are maintaining above the value area high of the range. So in some ways, this is bullish if we can maintain. But just like I described yesterday, when you have a support or resistance, and imagine it's like a piece of paper, and the more times you tap into it, each time you tap into it, you poke a hole in it, and it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Eventually, it's going to break and give away. We have been trading within this triangle throughout the day, this symmetrical triangle. And remember, a symmetrical triangle is a continuation consolidation pattern. So if you dump coming into the triangle, you have the triangle, you do have a higher probability of dumping coming out of the triangle. Now, we're also holding right at that value area high. So if we lose it, I suspect we could get a pretty aggressive move to the downside where I would at least, you can see I have an alert set on the low from yesterday. Because if we get that SFP into this anchored VWAP, I would be interested in taking a scalp long on that trade, but we might not get that SFP. We might just continue to just smash straight through it and come down a little bit lower. We still do have that 1 hour order block around 76.4, where we do have a golden pocket as well. And another thing, guys, if we look at USDT dominance, because we know that USDT dominance is inversely correlated to the Bitcoin price action, to really the crypto market, right? When USDT is going up, Bitcoin and the cryptos are going down. And when USDT is dumping, Bitcoin is usually pumping. So if we look on USDT, we've actually been expecting a dump on USDT for quite a while to come down to at least that 0.382 Fibonacci or the 0.5 Fibonacci for a bigger wave 4 correction that would last some time, because this is on high time frame. So on the daily time frame, if we look at this, we're looking at a wave 4 corrective move to kind of complete our wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4, and then a 5, maybe ending the bear market by taking out these double highs, grabbing the liquidity of these double highs, and then seeing USDT dump and a new bull market start. But for now, we've been in this correction of the past couple of months here, this corrective move here. And we know the targets for a corrective move are between the 382 of a wave 4 corrective move. Let me rephrase that, of a wave 4 corrective move, or between the 382 and that 0.5 Fibonacci. Well, we can see here at the 382 Fibonacci, right below it, we have our naked weekly point of control and a daily level of support that has not been hit yet. We also have that 382 that has not been hit yet. It was very, very slightly front run. Let me go on to the 2 hour chart. And you can see here, the 2 hour chart, we did not actually hit that 382 Fibonacci. We had front run that 382 Fibonacci. But what we're seeing right now is we're seeing that proverbial selling exhaustion coming in. And we are starting to form some bull divs on the chart. We are also starting to see us reclaim the value area low of the range. We back tested it. We pump up to POC, reject POC, hold value area low again. And right now we're bumping our head up against the POC multiple times. And remember, guys, the piece of paper analogy, we're bumping up into this POC multiple times. It looks like we are really trying to break above this POC And I wouldn't even be surprised. Over the past week, we've kind of formed this bottom reversal pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, whatever you want to say. Inverse head and shoulders are a mini accumulation pattern. And we really have this area here is where that selling exhaustion started. You can see how that selling exhaustion is starting in this area. So do we see a small rise on USDT dominance? If we break above this POC, we could very quickly flush up at least to take out these highs at like 7.58%, but we could even flush up to take the semi-equal highs around 7.75%. And what that would be for us is a potential small A, B, C correction coming up to sweep these highs before ultimately rolling back over and coming down to that naked weekly point of control. So if that is the case, if we are going to see a small corrective move on USDT on the lower time frames or medium time frames, we could see a bit of a rise to come up to about 7.75%, or at the very least 7.58% to sweep that liquidity before seeing that roll over. And if that is going to be the case, we do know that Bitcoin will be dumping. We'll probably see Bitcoin lose the value area low of this range. And if we do lose the value area low of this range, guys, we can watch for those weekend lows of last Sunday, because we do know that weekend highs and weekend lows often do get taken out. And because the weekend lows are so close to our range lows of this upper range, we might come down and grab those weekend lows around, or the range lows around $73,300. Now, in order to remain bullish on Bitcoin, we do not want to see that bearish break in market structure. Over the past week, I have been harping to you guys about how market structure is the biggest thing that I'm watching to know whether this impulse up from 65K all the way up to 79K is over with. And if we continue to maintain higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows inside this structure, we will be able to make new highs. And I still do think that $82,300 area is a major resistance to look at. And an intra-level resistance, and I guess an internal resistance, is around $81,000, where we could even be looking at that still from last Sunday's low, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, with that final Elliott wave impulse playing out, where we could reject from around $81,000. Now, if we look at why $81,000, because if we're zooming out onto our larger time frames and we're looking at our golden pocket Fibonacci ratio pulled from the $98,000 highs down to our $60,000 lows, our golden pocket comes in around 81,000 to about 82,500. So it's a zone, right? It's a zone. Now, I like the upper limit of that zone a bit better, around 82,300 to about 82,500. But we do know this is a very key golden pocket, where in these bearish retracements, we often reject from lower high golden pockets. So it's a bit ambiguous right now with Bitcoin. I will say that us maintaining above the value area high of this local range is somewhat bullish, but we are starting to see some bearish signs here. And as we were making these new highs last Wednesday, we did create those confirmed bear divs on the chart. So higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves. Our money flow has kind of been draining out here on the 4-hour chart, and we have confirmed bear divs on the 4-hour chart. Now, do those confirmed bear divs only give us a smaller A, B, C correction to overall make another higher low, and then we continue up? That could be the case. And guys, if we do want to continue up to $82,000 or even $86,000, $87,000, which in my opinion, this area up here is the biggest test of them all. If we reject from this area, I would expect eventually in the next couple of months to come down and take out our 60K lows. So now, keeping all that in mind, what I just talked about with Bitcoin, let's go back to USDT dominance, which we know is inversely correlated to Bitcoin. If USDT dominance is going to pump up and grab some local highs, we could see Bitcoin see that smaller ABC correction, but maintain bullish market structure overall. And then we come down and hit that 382, which we know is a major, major target for a potential large wave impulse up to make new highs above 9%. I would be looking for this drop, first a small rise, maybe we maintain bullish market structure on Bitcoin, but once we hit into this level here, we are going to see, I believe we are going to see a pretty aggressive move up on USDT dominance. Now, that is going to mean that Bitcoin is going to be dumping. So if Bitcoin is making it up to $82,300, 82.5, the mid 82s, let's say mid 82s, or the mid 86s, and USDT dominance is also hitting that key support level, we could see the major rejection on Bitcoin with a major daily impulse. So when I say daily impulse, I mean on the daily time frame, we would see an impulse that would probably take 2 or 3 months, maybe even 4 months, to take out your 60K lows. And on the other hand, we would be seeing the USDT dominance chart pumping up to take out those semi-equal highs at 9%. And then that last macro low that's being made, hopefully it's around $57,000, $58,000. It would grab the liquidity. It would create a very nice possible accumulation pattern, right? We have our tap one here. Say we come up here, we reject, we come down in that impulse, we hit 58, 57K, we get our tap two, we get a retracement to golden pocket, and then we also dump back down to our higher low golden pocket. That would be your accumulation pattern that would form on the high time frames, which when we are seeing the end of a bear market, we usually see this sort of bigger accumulation take place. So over the next, let's say 3 to 6 months, we could see a very nice accumulation range form in here, where we could reject from even 86, 87 would still be viable for a dump down to take out 58K to create that tap two of an accumulation. And then we could get a rise up for a month and then a rise down for a few weeks. Not a rise down, a dump down for a few weeks. And this is kind of, a lot of people think the bear market is going to be coming in, the lows of the bear market in the 30,000s. I am personally not in that camp. I think, I have a couple charts here. I would say let's see, let me zoom out here onto the daily time frame. The bear market bottom, in my opinion, if we are going to see a more aggressive bear market, breaking the anchored VWAP from the bear market lows. This is our anchored VWAP coming in from the bear market lows. If we're going to break that volume trend support, I do think liquidity is the second most, liquidity and volume are the most important things in the market. So if we're going to see that big break, I think that taking the liquidity around $49,000, maybe coming down to $47,000, would be a major area where we would see some of the bigger players getting involved in scooping up the Bitcoin price, buying on spot, and really accumulating for the next bull cycle. So that is kind of what I'm watching overall. Now, on the lower time frames, guys, we're just choppy. We're choppy. We're not really, as far as me personally, I'm not really trading any of this. I haven't traded anything today. We didn't take the short yesterday on the golden pocket. We didn't take the long on those lows, or I personally didn't. I shouldn't say we, I should say I didn't. And still just waiting. I am still short from around $77,500, $77,350, excuse me, because I added to it again. And I still do have that scalp long that was originally around 68,000 that we've added to a little bit. But for the most part, I've really been trading some alts, guys. And yesterday, we talked about ZEC USD. Now, just yesterday, we were way down. Let me go to the 2-hour chart. We were way down in this area, expecting a move all the way up to our golden pocket. And I can't remember exactly where we were at yesterday, but we were looking at the potential. So there's, on the larger time frames, there's 2 potentials for ZEC. We have, from the lows, we were looking at the impulsive structure, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 came right up to that 1.618 Fibonacci target, which is where you're likely to reject. Our wave 4 retracement came right down to that 0.5, which is why I longed around 309. I did take a long on ZEC around 309, and I actually closed out my long position for a really juicy profit right here in this zone, which we talked about, because we do have a liquidity grab into a golden pocket, into a naked weekly point of control, and into a weekly level. I have not shorted this yet because what we are seeing locally here on ZEC, we could be seeing a 1, 2, 3, which could bring us, this third wave could actually bring us all the way to take out our highs around $403, hitting that naked monthly point of control, hitting that pitchfork band, the lower limit of the pitchfork band, before seeing a pullback in a wave 4, and then seeing our fifth and final wave bring us up between our 1.236 and our 1.618 Fibonacci expansion targets. Those are your wave 5 targets. Now, also, if we take a golden pocket from our macro highs, all-time high in this case, down to our lows of this entire move down, our golden pocket is going to be coming in right where those fifth wave targets are as well. So do we see ZEC come up to around the 430s to 450s over the next couple of weeks? If we do, I would love that, and I would be looking for shorts in that area. But let me zoom out to the daily time frame and go over the hyper bullish scenario for ZEC. On ZEC, from the all-time highs, you can see that we really have a very clear three-wave move to the downside. And in a confirmed three-wave move, which now we can say it is confirmed because we've broken this lower high, we've broken this lower high, we've broken this high. Actually, not that high yet, but we've broken two lower highs, confirming a shift in bullish market structure, a shift to bullish market structure. This could come up now even to take out your all-time highs around whatever this is, $745. And this pump could continue here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We could get in an extended fifth wave, which is common, especially on altcoins, that blow off top extended fifth wave. We could see an extended fifth wave even to come take out the all-time highs. For now, I'm playing a little bit of the smaller time frames. I'm focusing really just on this price action here, the impulse, the possible impulse or the possible correction that's going to happen here. But very, very nice trading on ZEC. ZEC does have a decent amount of liquidity, so there's not those crazy wicks that we see on some of the lower liquidity altcoins. But nice trade. If you guys got into that long position with awesome. We are seeing some bear divs here on the 1 hour chart, multiple drives of bear div on the 1 hour chart coming into our very, very key resistance. And that is why I took a full TP on that long position from 309. Now, if we do pull back from here, I have not shorted this yet, by the way, guys. I have not shorted this. I am still looking for a confirmation to short this. One of the reasons I have not shorted this is because we know our wave 3 target. So from this low on Sunday, April 26th, we have a wave 1 here. We have our running flat and a wave 2. And our wave 3 usually brings you up to the 1.618 Fibonacci extinction target. Well, if we also pull a Fibonacci retracement from the highs to the lows of this corrective move down, our 786 Fibonacci on log scale is right in that zone. So that is the next level of resistance where we might be able to get a decent day trade short on a fourth wave corrective move. If we're looking at this being a 1, 2, 3, we might be able to get a 4 to back test this general area, flipping it to support, and then see that 5 coming up to your naked monthly point of control. So I haven't shorted yet, even though this is very, very strong resistance and we absolutely could reject in this area. If we start to lose our golden pocket, which is at 357, I will look for the short, and I will look for the short, putting my stop loss. Let me just go ahead and grab the short position. If we lose 357, I will put my stop loss above the current highs of the day, and I will be looking to target probably this liquidity down here. And we could also pull a trend-based Fibonacci or a Fibonacci retracement from the lows to the highs and put on our 382, which often acts as a in a aggressive move, in a strong trend, it acts as support. So I would say this zone, we might wick past that 382 to grab that liquidity. But you can see how this 382 at 339 or like close to 340 is a nice little support base for this prior range that we were in, this little small range in here from yesterday. Have not taken that trade yet, and that is not the best risk to reward ratio, a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. We're looking at scalps. This is a pretty aggressive trend that we've been seeing for this week so far on ZEC. And really, I was interested in taking the longs from lower and riding that up. I would just say, I'll let you guys know in the Telegram if I do decide to take a short on ZEC. But let's get back to Bitcoin. Also, let me check the chat. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. R Pink, much love to you, man. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for modding. 1 week to max this bitch out, then we sell in May. Yeah, we could see a sell in May and walk away like we usually do. Dr. X, welcome in. Yeah, almost 4K subs. Guys, if you are not subbed, please sub to the channel and share it with anyone you think might find it interesting. We're really building a amazing community here, and I appreciate all of your guys' support. I appreciate all the love and kindness you show and just showing up every single day. I really do want to help each and every one of you become profitable in trading and build a community where we all support each other to scrape money away from those market makers. Little Rich 69, what's up, man? It's good to see you in here. Sudeep, much love to you. Thank you for modding for me. Can we look at ETH BTC chart? Looks like we will start a huge bounce from here. Yes, we can look at ETH BTC. And speaking of that, I will go into Ethereum real quick as well, because Ethereum is really looking interesting to me. BetaBot, hello to you. Yeshwant, much love to you. Thank you for always tuning in from India. I appreciate that. Quiles 1100, what's up, man? Roy, what's up? Patrick Schooner, Dad87. Thank you guys all so much for being here. Let's go into Ethereum. So Ethereum is interesting because I am actually expecting a little bit of a rise on Ethereum. We got that initial drop down, that initial big drop down, and then we're really starting to see that selling exhaustion. And actually, we are forming kind of that symmetrical triangle. Now, I know what I say about symmetrical triangles. They're consolidation, continuation patterns. So could we dump out of this? And yes, that is a real possibility we could dump out of this. If we look at our range that we've been in on Ethereum since April 13th, so for about 2 weeks now, we've been in this upper range. And sure, could this be a topping reversal range? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, in head and shoulders topping reversal pattern, and then we dump aggressively coming out of it. That is absolutely possible and something we need to watch for. But we are holding a couple things here. We're holding the back test of our POC for the most part. It is kind of holding in here. And we did come down after breaking above that pitchfork band. We broke above, we did make a lower high, but we're coming down, and you see we're just chopping inside this pitchfork band, which is very common to see chop within these pitchfork bands. I still think that the head and shoulders could play out where we dump to the downside, but even so, I would expect us to at least come up and grab this liquidity trail that has been formed over the past week. I just don't see the market makers leaving that liquidity trail there. So could we get a fake out to come up, grab that liquidity into the top of the pitchfork band, and then see that big head and shoulders play out? Yes, we could. In a more bullish scenario, I would be expecting to come up to our golden pocket value area high retracement. And yeah, I mean, it could be, guys. We could be seeing, so if we're looking at this as an impulsive move to the downside, we have our 3-wave corrective move up. So then we would be looking for another impulsive move down, right? An ABC, a bigger ABC. But in an ABC, you're looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You're still looking for a 5, 3, 5. 5-wave impulse in A, 3-wave corrective move in B, another 5-wave impulse in C. And that gives you your overall ABC corrective move in Elliott waves. So even coming up to this golden pocket could be a nice short if we're going to catch that big wave 3 to the downside within our C wave. Let's check ETH BTC real quick. ETH BTC. Let me get rid of some of this local TA here. All right, so a couple key things that we're looking at here, which is a bit disturbing for me. On ETH BTC, you can see we're grabbing liquidity from those prior highs, and we are rejecting the 0.5 Fibonacci. Now, and we're losing the POC of the range, the bigger, much larger range to the downside. What we've been looking at on ETH BTC, first off, we bounced on the daily time frame way down at these lows near the macro value area low. And if I zoom out onto the weekly chart, this range that we're looking at really goes back to June of 2017. So quite an aggressive upper range here forming on the macro ETH versus Bitcoin chart. Now, the one thing that I don't like about this move up that we saw is if we look at this on the weekly time frame, what does this look like, guys? This looks like a 3-wave corrective move so far. And if that is a 3-wave corrective move, then eventually you expect to take out those lows again and maybe actually hit into the value area low of the range. So in some ways, on the macro timeframes, that is a bit of a bearish sign that Bitcoin could pump against ETH or ETH could dump against Bitcoin. But if we're zooming in on the lower timeframes here, let's go on to that daily time frame. All right. And so we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. There is overlap though. I don't like how there's overlap between these lows and that high. So potential we were looking at was a wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, 5, a 5-wave impulse down to start your much larger impulse to take out those lows. But I would say there's a lot of overlap in here. Even if you say this is like a couple 1, 2s in here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Actually, that Elliott wave count doesn't work. I don't know what we were looking at with that prior. But even, let's say, in terms of your bearish market structure, right? We have bearish market structure here, making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and we're losing our macro range POC. Now, this range goes back to June of 2017. It was acting as support, you know, a little bit of resistance here, even though we chopped through it a bit. But you can see how now we're losing that POC, back testing, held our small backtest of a value area high just to grab liquidity, and now we're starting to break market structure bearishly here. And we're breaking market structure bearishly on the daily time frame by taking out this daily low that was in here. Is it just going to be an SFP? In a bullish case scenario, you can see how we just grabbed liquidity on the daily time frame, a daily SFP. Wick passed it yesterday. We're above it today. So today's daily candle close is going to be important, above or below that 0.02973 level. Yeah, I guess you could be seeing a flat in here where you grab the highs of your A wave or your initial wave in your B flat, and then your C wave comes and takes out the lows of A, and then you push back up. That would be the bullish scenario. And if we do close this daily time frame, this daily candle above this low, it could be a good sign for us. It could be a good sign of a decent move to the upside. I actually want to zoom in here on the lower time frames. Let's go to the 4-hour and let's see how the 4-hour. All right, money flow doesn't look the best here, but we are seeing some slight bull divs on NAMI. Very slight bull divs here on NAMI. Actually, let's see. Not even really bull divs. Yeah, and we don't see bull divs on Market Cipher either. If we were going to see a bigger push up to take out, you know, in a flat, I would at least want to see some low to intermediate time frame bull divs. So 4-hour doesn't have any bull divs. Money flow doesn't look the best. Let's go to the 2-hour. Two-hour is not showing any bull divs on Market Cipher, but NAMI you can see has some drives of bull div in this little area here. We get the bull div. We're getting the money flow crossing into the green. That is at least a decent signal. And then let's go to our 1-hour. Yeah, and we do have some pretty decent bull divs on the 1-hour. Actually, the 1-hour looks pretty nice. You can see all of these bull divs in here as money flow is curving to the upside. And multiple, you can see all the multiple drives of bull div here on NAMI, money flow crossing into the green. We also got that proverbial kind of selling exhaustion starting down here, breaking that channel to the upside. I would be really wary of rejecting from a golden pocket. Let's pull that golden pocket here. Yeah, this golden pocket is a pretty interesting support resistance flip as well. If you look at kind of this support resistance flip that we're seeing here, all the way, that's a horrible line, but you guys get what I mean here. Support resistance flip. So you are saying, looks like we will start a huge bounce from here. Well, yes, it is a liquidity grab. Now, I don't know what you mean by huge, but on the daily time frame, we took out those range lows after taking out the liquidity of the range highs. And what we want to be looking at here, let me go ahead and just hide some of these smaller volume profiles. Actually, we'll delete that. I'm going to get rid of this here. And let's just look at this upper volume profile right here. We have to be very careful because we've lost our range value area low. And yes, you just like in this upper case, we broke above the value area high only to take liquidity. And then we fell back inside of our volume profile, which you expected to move at least down to the value area low. We could see a reverse of that right now where we dropped back past the value area low to grab our range low liquidity. And if we get back inside this volume profile, I would say there's a decent chance that we could make it up to that golden pocket POC area. If we come up to this value area low right here and reject, I would say we're probably going to see that bigger breakdown on ETH USDT. ETH Bitcoin, excuse me. And then what we would look at in that scenario, if we did see that rejection, which is going to be around 0.0302, then we could extend a new volume profile and look at all this lower price action that's pretty much underneath the POC. And I would be expecting a move on because we would be re-entering back inside your value area high. That's your value area high of both of these ranges combined. So you can see not only is it the value area low of this upper range, but if we combine the two, it's your value area high there. And if you fall back inside your volume profile, you reject on the bearish backtest of value area high, you expect to pretty much fill that volume profile and come down to value area low. And we do have a whole lot of a liquidity trail in here where we could at the very least, I would expect us to sweep all of this liquidity right here. Let me pull our golden pocket. Okay, we are at golden pocket. Actually, let's do this. Yeah, so it is a nice support that we're at right now. Golden, it's our macro golden pocket support. You can see on this range, all the price action pretty much underneath the POC since we've lost the POC with volume to the downside. We are grabbing liquidity of this upper range and we're bouncing from the golden pocket. The key, once again, guys, the key is this area right here, 0.302. If we reject here, I would expect to come lower. If we can get back above it, I would actually expect that we're in that flat, it's done with, and now we continue up higher. And of course, this would take time to do. We are on higher time frames here, so this would take some time for it to play out. Let's go out to the daily again. Yeah, this created some daily bear divs on the chart. You can see also multiple drives of bear div on the daily here on NAMI as well. Money flow on NAMI is just starting to cross into the red. You can see it's just starting to cross into the red here. So I would be really wary today or tomorrow or, over the next few days if we come up here and reject here. I would be really wary of a rejection for this continuation of the bear div to play out. And once again, because this does look like a larger three-wave corrective move, there is the scenario where you dump down to take out those lows and come down like so. If you do double bottom around 0173, that could be, if Ethereum is at support on USDT pair, that could be such a really aggressive long position for Ethereum, swing long position. All right, and then I want to look at one more thing here. Actually, let's go back to the daily. And I know, sorry, this chart is messy, you guys. I don't keep an object tree for ETH BTC. Let's just get rid of some of this smaller price action. Yeah, we are in this descending channel too. So the fact that we tried to break out of the value, the POC and the channel here, and then we fell back inside, your last hope is that we're going to hold this and we are going to get back above that small value area low. If not, we are probably going to see that bigger dump. And if you see where our more macro golden pockets coming in, it's coming in at the lows of the channel. So could we see something where if we fail again, we're going to drop down into that golden pocket area? Monthly down there as well. So I would say this zone in here. You are also going to have a range POC in there. Let's check to see if we have a naked monthly. No naked monthlies. Let's see if we have a naked weekly. Nope. Well, it doesn't go back that far. What I will say here is you can see this is a naked weekly at 02940. We also have that naked monthly that's right there. So fresh naked monthly just below us. If today ends up closing below, because you could still see a flat here if this continues down to this naked monthly, but you probably would want to see this green candle today end up closing red below the prior lows and continuing down over the weekend and probably bounce come Monday from that naked monthly. All right, let's go back to Bitcoin, check what's Bitcoin doing here. We'll go on to the 15-minute chart. I'm a bit worried here that we are going to see a bit of a breakdown on Bitcoin just because USDT Dominance is trying to reclaim that POC. And in a three-wave corrective move, guys, if we are going to see that overall three-wave corrective move with your B wave being a triangle, we're going to dump down. And if we look at those targets for that corrective move, we want to bring it from this low. $76.7 to about $76.3. Now, I like that $76.3 because it is where that 1 hour order block is. If we zoom out onto the 1 hour and look at that order block, that 1 hour order block is right in there. And also your golden pocket is very close to that. If we're pulling our golden pocket from the last 1 hour low to our high, you can see our golden pocket is in that zone as well. All right, let me check the chat here. Are you toast? Wait, R-Pink, are you in a position that's not doing so well, or what's going on there? Yeah, Roy, thank you for the kind comment, Roy. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the support. Zephyr FH, welcome in, man. And I don't know the name here in Chinese, but welcome in. Thank you for being here. Nightwalker NL, can you please check out OPN? Yeah, we can check out OPN. Do you think it will go bananas? Okay, OPN, please. Yep. All right, we'll check OPN out real quick. OPN USDT. We'll just look at Binance. Well, it's doing pretty well today so far. It's fairly new. It's fairly new here. What I would say is watch the liquidity of this high right away, because even if you're going to start to create a bottoming range in here, like if this is going to be the start of an accumulation, like a tap 1 in here, a tap 2 in here, maybe this could be a tap 3, but it's kind of early. So do you get a rejection here and then come down for a tap 3 and kind of create an accumulation range in here? You're accumulating, and then you could see breakout and expansion up to kind of this upper price action in here. I mean, a very nice bullish engulfing candle on the daily time frame. You did see on NAMI, you saw the bull divs. We didn't have enough time on Bitcoin or on Market Cipher, but it looks like you would have the bull divs here coming into these lows. Bull divs. And if you do not SFP this high at 22.2, you have a pretty nice fair value gap in here on the weekly time frame. So be aware of that. If you don't SFP that high, you could come up quite a bit higher. Oh, wait, let me mark out any weeklies we have. All right, our only weekly is way up in this upper zone. Yeah, and that's your daily, that's your only fresh daily as well. You have a daily order block right here, but it's not the best looking. So for now, you can see how we have pretty aggressive drop in here, and then we start to go sideways right here. You're starting to go sideways. So I would pull the volume profile. It looks like all of this is part of the impulse down. So I would start actually pulling that volume profile from this low and go sideways here. You're breaking above your value area high. You can see that we also broke into back inside the volume profile, back tested that value area low. So if you break POC, you're very likely to come up to value area high. And even today, we're attempting to break value area high and grab liquidity of the highs of the range. What you want to see on this is you do not want to grab liquidity and fall back inside the range. If you grab liquidity and fall back inside the range, you could see a continuation of downside. Money flow looks pretty strong. We don't really have any bear divs locally between higher high here. We also have a higher high here. The one thing you need to watch out for, and this would set up for the SFP short, is if we continue up and grab that liquidity and then fall back inside, you could see those bear divs playing out on the higher time, on the more regional time frames here. And if this was the end of the corrective move here, all this downtrend, and we are now, because we did break market structure bullishly. So what do we talk about on the channel? Market structure breaks are key. And if we look at these highs right here, this was your important market structure break. We were making, you know, lower lows, or you have your high, your low, your lower high, your lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So this high right here, this lower high, is the most important thing to see a break in market structure. What did we do? We came up, we broke that market structure bullishly. So because we broke it bullishly, you can expect a higher low on the charts before creating another higher high. So the fact that we broke market structure bullishly and then put in a higher low here is starting to signal that we could see a more macro shift in market structure change to a bullish market structure. The big thing to watch out for, once again, is the fake out, the SFP, just to grab liquidity. This is what market makers do. We see the market structure change. Everyone gets bullish saying, oh, the trend is going to change. You just come up here, you grab liquidity, and then you continue the overall, at least a sideways trend. But what we can look at is we can pull a small pitchfork based off of the bullish break in market structure, right? So we have our more macro low. We have that first bullish break in market structure making a higher high, and then we could pull it down to our higher low. Now, because this is a sideways trend, because this trend is very sideways right now, our pitchfork we pull is not going to want to be an original pitchfork. That would be in an aggressive uptrend if you're looking for like a wave 3. Since we're kind of starting to just bottom, we want to go with our flattest pitchfork we can, which is going to be the skiff pitchfork. So let's go into our settings. Let's put our skiff pitchfork on. And yeah, look at how nicely this pitchfork has been respected on the 4-hour time frame. Let's just zoom in onto the 1 hour, and I can show you guys how well this pitchfork has been respected. Reject from the top of the upper band, chop for a bit, chop in and around the band, you break it, you come up to the midline, you reject from the midline, you come back, you back test that lower band now as support, you hold it, you now this time break through the midline. You did get a small reaction the first time you hit your upper band, you got a small pullback, but we're continuing here. So the big thing I would watch out for is if you SFP this into the top of the pitchfork and then you lose it, man, that could get really bad, and that means you could fall back inside that volume profile and see that bigger dump to the downside. So I would be watching for the SFP of 222 into about a resistance of 2281 or 228, let's say. It's looking pretty bullish right now. Honestly, this doesn't look bad here. And here's the thing with this push up, this first push up right here, I can count a valid 5-wave move. Wave 1, you have your flat here in a wave 2, your wave 3, your wave 4, and your wave 5. So this is a bullish 5-wave impulse, right? Impulse there in a wave 1, you get your pullback in a wave 2. And then if this is your, even in a bearish scenario, you're looking for an A, B, C, right? And your C wave is an impulse and your A wave is an impulse. So we have the A wave impulse. This is either going to be an A or a 1 right here. This is an A or a 1. We have our 2 or a B here. Now in the bearish scenario, this is going to be a C wave, another impulse that's going to reject around this area and then dump. And then you expect to ultimately take out these lows. In a impulse, you want to see a 3 here. You want to keep going. You want to break out. You do not want to SFP this. You want to probably break out of this pitchfork. So what we can do here is we can pull our trend-based Fibonacci extinction targets from the lows of wave 1. I'll fix that. To the highs of wave 1 to the lows of wave 2. Let's see, 9.8. Okay. And yeah, be very careful here, guys, because if it is going to be an ABC corrective move, your zone is between the 1-to-1 and that 1.236. Now, you can peak a little bit above the 1.236 to hit the top of the pitchfork too, and then lose this and really start to dump here. So you have to be careful. It's a very key decision point for OPN right now in this zone up here. If it's going to be a wave 3, 1, 2, 3, you want to break out. You do not want to see much of a reaction in this zone. Maybe a small reaction, 5-minute pullback or so, but you don't want to see much there. And you really want to continue up to hit that 1.618 target, which is going to be around 24.19. And then what I would expect if this is a wave 3, you're going to see 1, 2, 3, and then I would expect the pullback in a 4 to either backtest the pitchfork and continue up, or to either backtest these prior highs and continue up. And then that could give you that, on that wave 5 target on the 1-hour time frame. All of this, let's say this is a 5-wave impulse up and it ends here, within that you get your 1, you get your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You end that 5-wave here. I would expect that all of this could be the wave 1 of a much bigger impulse to the upside, right? You get your wave 1, you get a pullback to golden pocket in a wave 2, then you get your wave 3, 4, 5, and maybe come up, and start to take out some of this liquidity that was created in here. You did have daily bull divs as you were forming these lows. So there is a possibility of that. I have no idea what OPN is. I would be very, very cautious if you're, I would not be longing right now, guys, unless you're doing a super low time frame scalp position where we're looking at back testing the pitchfork band right now, and then like back test here just to continue up to take liquidity. We can actually look at this here. Let's pull this up because you are trying to break above and you are trying to hold it very locally as support. 1, 2, 3. What I would be looking for if you were going to take a scalp long on this is I would wait until we came down and touched it again, and I would put my stop right below that prior low. And nah, that's a 2-to-1 risk to reward. Ah, man. Yeah, I don't know if I would take that, to be honest. I wouldn't take it. Money flow looks pretty decent on the 12-minute still. Coming up. You do have slight bear divs on NAMI. Slight money flow bear divs on NAMI. But you want this momentum to continue here. You want all this momentum to continue. Up to about 24 cents. Okay, so what I have noticed about OPN, it is trading against Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin's dumping, it's pumping. I mean, but Bitcoin's not really dumping right now. It's just consolidating. Sui. Yeah, let's check Sui out. Sui has been really awesome to trade. Let me get onto this. Let's go on to the daily real quick here on Sui. I mean, we're just chopping within this lower range here on the daily time frame. Now, Sui did take out a major, or we came to our major POC. So on Sui, we have 2 major ranges, right? And if you remember the last time we talked about this as well, we have kind of this lower fair value for Sui, and then it had some expansion, and we had an upper range that was in there for a while. Now, we broke down from our upper range. You can see we broke down. We even came up and we back tested that range area, and then we dropped into our previous range. And so now we're finding support. We're finding a support at your point of control, at your fair value of your prior, fair value or your prior balance range for Sui. So it is interesting that we are starting to form accumulation. This does look like accumulation in here, but there's one major problem with an accumulation range in here. We don't see a tap 2 yet because your low is this initial February 6th low, February 5th, February 6th low. If you were going to see accumulation in here, you want that tap 1 here. You want to range for a bit. You could even come up and take out your range highs, and then you see a drop to take out those range lows, and then you kind of get that, move. So could we see a few months of this being an accumulation range in the making? Yes, but we are not seeing a tap 2 yet. We want to take out that February 6th low. And so for me, what I would be primarily interested in is, yes, we're just going to play this range right here. We're going to play this range until it breaks. Oop, what did I just do? Let me grab the volume profile. We are coming up to the POC of the volume profile. Very sideways range in here. And I would be careful because this does look like it could be an impulse down. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. So you have a pretty clear 5-wave impulse followed by a pretty clear 3-wave corrective move. So could this be the start of the C wave, right? You have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, where you create that bigger A, B, C. Let's pull our golden pocket from the lows to the highs. And I just want to double check something here. 28, okay. Yeah, I actually like this golden pocket a whole lot because we do have some very key liquidity resting into this golden pocket. You can see all these lows in here resting into this golden pocket around 89, 85. Now, your one-to-one target is going to be quite a bit past that. Your major target zone is between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. $786 is close to that 1-to-1. Let's check out where we're our naked. Remember, in a sideways range, guys, the things that we're looking for is volume levels and liquidity levels. Those are the two most important things, volume and liquidity. So we can look at our naked daily points of controls on this move to the upside if we've left behind any naked dailies. And sure enough, we left behind a naked daily point of control right on top of that 786 Fibonacci. So there is some confluence here, and that is a lot closer to your 1-to-1 correction target. So we do have a naked daily point of control there, and we also have a naked daily point of control at like 85 cents. And that is probably going to be where your 886 is. And in sideways ranges, specifically in sideways ranges, the 886 Fibonacci is a very, very important level. So yeah, your 886 is going to be close to that second naked daily point of control. Naked weeklies we'll look at now. No naked weeklies down in here, which is pretty nice to see. We have a daily level at 90 cents below us, and really the only daily level is above us is going to be up around 107. Today's daily candle is going to be important because look at what happened here. We bounced, or we were able to reclaim your value area low of the range. We broke back inside it with a nice volume candle. We came up to POC, chopped around POC. Overall, from that high, you kind of saw this three-wave corrective move. And then you continued and you tried to break out of your value area high. You spent a couple days above your value area high. But let me just remain on the daily time frame for a second here. After dumping back inside your volume profile, you lost the POC, and look at 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, and today's the 5th day where we're trying to break above this POC. If we close another daily candle underneath that POC, that's where we could finally start to roll over here and see that move down. So we don't want to see that close below the POC. If you're bullish, you want to get above this. This is old. This can be taken out. Yeah, you're really struggling here on taking out that POC. And NAMI is creating some bear divs. Money flow is starting to top out here on the 1 hour. Pull the price action of all the 5 days below the POC. We're squeezing right now, guys. We're squeezing between the larger 3-month long range POC and our small 5-day range long POC. What I will say here is this almost looks like an ascending triangle. And in pattern trading, this ascending triangle, you have your flat resistance and you have this ascending support. It is actually a bullish pattern where a majority of the time, this ascending triangle will end up breaking to the upside. And if it does break to the upside, I would honestly look to take out this liquidity into your value area high. Man, golden pockets. I don't like where your golden pocket is, but your 0.5 Fibonacci is going to be close to that value area high, and it's going to be grabbing this liquidity in here. It's tough. This is a tough one on Sui for me because the way we did not make a new low. And even on this 3-month, 2.5, 3-month long range, we do kind of have that like topping pattern in here where this could at least break down to take out the lows at the very least, or maybe even come to that 74-cent area. Money flow's looking pretty good on the daily time frame on both NAMI and Market Cipher B. Two, you got your 3, 4, 5, 4. So, and another thing here, if we're looking at the larger, impulse down, you get your corrective move up, and then we're looking at this last C wave. If this is a larger A, B, C down, we're looking at this C wave. So you can see it starts here in this channel with some 1-2s, right? You get your 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you get your big dump in a third wave. Then you get the 4, you get another 5, you get another 4. We still haven't had another 5. So you would want to get a couple more because we had 3 1-2s in here. You would want to get some 4 5s in this zone. So you'd get your, maybe do this in another 5, and then you get another 4, and then another 5. And we create that same type of structure towards the end here. It could be a little bit flatter. It could just be, grabbing liquidity each time making a new low. But this is starting to look like the end of a larger impulse. It is starting to look like the end of a larger impulse down. So what we want to see is a couple new lows being made, even if it's just liquidity grabs, maybe coming down and hitting into that 74-cent area, 83 cent, 74 cent, a couple different levels that we could be looking at here. My friend bought at 67 and has been holding ever since. Yeah, that's a okay, 67. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, hopefully he took some profit up in this range up here. I bought some on spot in here and I took profit. I only took out 50% profit, but when we broke these highs, I took out 50% of the spot that I bought. I'm actually holding the other 50% of that spot, and you can see I'm way underwater on it. But I think Sui's a good project overall. And actually, if we start to see another low being made on here in this range, I will probably buy more spot on Sui. Because long term, I think Sui's going to be a good project. So, Chi-chan, welcome in, man. Yeah, I'm doing very well. And thank you for the weekend wishes. Okay, I know there was a couple. Let me check up XCN real quick. We'll look at XCN, USDT. Is there not? Okay, I guess I could check Bybit. Wow. Is this okay? Hold on. XCN USDT. Pretty much the same chart. Okay. Well, we're on the weekly time frame. What I will say about this looks like a corrective descending channel on the weekly time frame. You have this nice descending channel that you're seeing here on the weekly time frame, but the fact I would at least be expecting to take out these lows at 00418. It's concerning to me that this ended up being a 3-wave corrective move. And you could say that this is a flat in here for your B. So A in an impulse, a flat, and then a C impulse. Now, if that is a three-wave corrective move, we did make a lower high. There is the possibility of dumping down to make a lower low or a double bottom of sorts on the weekly time frame. So I'm not saying that's going to happen anytime soon. I don't know what XCN is either. What we can look at, let's just say that this, even if we're going to make a low below these lows, there's still the opportunity that we still come up pretty aggressively first and then continue down, you know, and so what we can look at is pulling on the weekly time frame from our last weekly low to that high. We're going to look at our golden pocket. We're going to put it on log scale, of course. Yeah, that's where you got your nice bounce from right here. But you did not hit that 0.65 golden pocket. In that case, and look at where our weekly channel midline is coming in at, right at that 0.65 golden pocket. So if we're going to make a double bottom on the weekly, we could see an SFP. So let's zoom in on the daily now. Man, this thing is just low liquidity too. I would be very careful trading this, guys. But you see how this low here, we did not hit the 0.65 golden pocket. So we might be able to see a bit of a dump to come down and hit that 0.65 in that midline again. I would want to see it in the next like 2 to 3 weeks. And then as far as your range that's forming on the daily time frame, I would say from this low right here, we are starting to form kind of a sideways range. So we can pull that volume profile of that sideways range. Yeah, you're at the reason why we're consolidating here, guys, it's your POC value area low. You're not even creating bull divs, though. You can see how you have these nice higher low momentum waves in here, but you're making also higher lows in here. So it's a bit of a fake out, you could see. Now, I'm not saying that we can't see a move up. You might be able to see a move up to actually hit the value area high and grab this liquidity before seeing a dump down. Like that would be possible, in my opinion. It would be nicer to dump straight here. That would give you the better long position overall. If you dump and you take out these lows before pushing up, it would give you a nicer position, like opportunity there. Yeah, and it's just, it's so, look at the wicks here, like so many dojis in here and so much wickage. It looks like, honestly, not a lot of people are trading this. This looks like a lot of bot trading as well on the daily time frame. We could zoom in and even look at just that super small range. Hold on, let me extend this. Yeah, this, oh gosh, man, I would stay away from this thing. Look at these wicks to the up and down here. But you could even pull a volume profile and just look at this chop in here over the past week or so. And of course, it's not going to be respected highly because of all these wicks because it's such low liquidity. Like, in my opinion, I would not be margin trading, futures trading this thing at all. I personally wouldn't. If you're spot buying this, I would just say, if you take out that low again, that macro low, where was it? Right here at 0041-ish into your golden pot, into your 0.65 golden pocket, 003945. That could be a nice long, but I would be waiting for the drop, the touching of that, and then once you started to reclaim this prior low, I would start to buy. Yeah, I mean, it's not looking horrible. You see how money flow is kind of curving to the upside overall here, and so is your momentum is starting to curve to the upside. So if you hold the value area low over the next couple days, you could make a move to value area high. I would say in like, the next week to 1 to 4 weeks, you could make a move up there. In my opinion, it would be more bearish though. If you make a move up there, you reject, take liquidity, it might be near the highs of the channel too. You're likely to dump down and you might not hold that golden pocket. And remember, because this overall is looking more like a 3-wave move, there is a big possibility you could come down and sweep these lows. We could look at, let's go on the weekly. I'm going to hide this channel for a second. That local bullish break in market structure, we could pull that. Now, you see how you busted out really aggressive here? I bet you these highs are near the top of the original pitchfork. Let's see. Actually, it busted even above that. Okay, interesting. But you can see, even on this original pitchfork, you lost it. 1 back test, 2 back tests. So you're back testing the pitchfork, you're losing it. Yes, you are starting to flatten out here, but I would just be wary because this could be, a small move up and then a continuation down. But let's look at our sideways trend. Okay. I mean, it does have some respect in there. I want to check out our skiff or modified. Yeah, this one fits nicer, to be honest. So this fits nicer. You can see how the midline was acting as resistance. You break above, you back test the highs, but you make a lower high. Once you fall back inside, you back test it. Back test the first of all, back test the top of it, then back test the lower band, back test the lower band again, fall to the midline. Midline, you come up to the top. Midline's been holding over the past weeks. The midline's been holding, but now you're starting to see your first 1, 2, 3, 4 weekly candles below it. You can see this one wicked above, but closed the weekly at that resistance. So if we zoom in on the daily now, it's not looking good that you're starting to find weakness below this midline, which was acting as support. Once again, within our small range, could you come up a little bit higher, take out some highs, hit the midline? Yes, you could, but I would be very, very careful here. It's just even look, yeah. Yep, you could come up to, 052, 0519, hit into that midline again, and then continue the dumpage here. This coin is not for me. Let's just say that. I don't even know if I'd buy it on spot, but all right, let me check Bitcoin again real quick, see what she's up to. Looks like I see some red. Oh. I have a feeling this weekend is going to be pretty boring. We are starting to form that range. A very nice range above that value area high. And even this last, hour or so, this looks pretty corrective to me. But are we just going to see another 3-wave move to grab some of this liquidity in here? Hit into your VWAP and then just dump. I want to check out USDT Dominance again, because if it starts to reclaim this POC, guys, I mean, if USDT Dominance starts to reclaim this POC, we are going to see a dump on Bitcoin. Hidden bull divs printing here. Continuation. Money flows crossing into the green on Market Cipher, crossed into the green on NAMI, and is heavily rising into the green on NAMI. I know it's trying to hold us down right now. This POC is trying to hold us down, but it's trying really hard to break through it. And if it breaks through it, we are going to most likely sweep this very, very quickly. And probably come all the way up to these highs. Okay, let's see here. OPN is a decentralized protocol for prediction markets that converts macroeconomic data and events into tradable assets on the blockchain. Okay, tokenizing assets on a blockchain. INTC, I don't... I mean, it's looking pretty bullish. You're taking out your range highs. You're closing above this weekly, above those range highs. That's pretty nice. Yeah, nice break above the value area high. This value area high goes back to, what is this? March of 2000. You can see here what happened, though. You held value area low, broke above POC, you got up to above value area high, flipped value area high into support, and now you're continuing to take out your range highs. So that's pretty nice. That's a pretty bullish move on Intel. And it is interesting here. I mean, let's see, is that a double top? Let me just mark that out. All right, not quite a double top there, but very, very close. What I would say overall is this could be some sort of an expanding diagonal is super rare, but to end the impulse, maybe it's an expanding diagonal. But what it looks nice on Intel is this overall looks like a 3-wave corrective move on a monthly time frame. And this for sure looks impulsive so far. And the fact that you held that value area low means that you would at least want to move to value area high. The fact that we flip value area high into support means that we could continue up to take out your range highs, which we just did. Be careful if we do start to lose these range highs again, you could be seeing a bit of a sell-off because we could be looking at also, and I know this is the monthly time frame, so this would take a long time, but some sort of a distribution pattern up here. Like that's a tap one. This, you would want this probably to come a little bit higher here in a tap two, but actually let's pull a pitchfork just from those range lows. Oops. Yeah, man, we could even come up to like 114 on Intel. And now if you do that, that could be your tap two at 114. And then you could roll down. You could roll down even if it's to the golden pocket. So we could pull like a theoretical golden pocket. And yeah, that golden pocket would be on the back test. Let me double check this. Yep. All right. So very nice there. If you do see that, because this range goes, it's what a 20-year range going back to 2000, the year 2000. So you come up to 114, you reject. If you do reject from 114, you could see a move down. You know, it would probably take a year, 2 years or so, back down to $36. By then, you might see this aligning with this lower pitchfork band as well, this golden pocket value area high. But I would say, to me, if we get down into this area again, major buy opportunity. Even if it's just to come up and make a lower high and then continue this, distribution down. But what you're expecting is in a distribution, and now this would be on the monthly time frame, so this would take a long time to play out. But say you're tap 1 here, you get a tap 2 here, you eventually get a rise down, a drop, towards the lows of the range. It doesn't have to take out these lows. It doesn't have to take out these lows. But then you get another rise up in here, and then you get your 3 taps on that intel on that stock, and then you might see a dump. Now, with the way technologies emerging in chips and everything like that, I don't know if that's going to be the case. We could also be looking at reaccumulation here, right? In some ways, we could have already had our reaccumulation. Tap 1, tap 2, this was your tap 3, and now we are about to see expansion here and continuation. In some ways, that's actually more likely with the way that chips are going, manufacturing and AI and stuff like that. It's more likely we could continue on this thing. And this would be reaccumulation because you pumped coming into it. Instead of seeing distribution here, you reaccumulated for 20 years, and now you're going to continue up to your next price discovery levels and make a new zone of balance up higher. Liam, thank you so much for the kind comment, man. Welcome in, and it's good to see you. Spitzlet, I hope that helps a little bit. Equipment with ownership and payment flows settled in stablecoins. Chip holders vote. Key protocol parameters, including collateral types, loan fee structures. Awesome. Well, Nightwalker, thank you for letting me know about OPN. I might have to add that to my list in here to pay attention to. Thank you, Rpink. Okay, guys, real quick, I want to take a second to shout out the partners of the channel. So the main partner of the channel is BYDFI. They are a VPN and KYC free exchange. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. If you do sign up using my affiliate link in the description below, you can get a minimum of 20% discounts on trading fees, and you can actually earn up to 40% discounts on trading fees, which is huge. You do have to deposit some pretty large amounts to get the 40% discounts, but even if you deposit just $100, you guys can get 20% discounts on trading fees. They're offering up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses, depending on how much volume you trade within the futures markets. And since we're trading the futures markets in USDT contracts anyways, just by trading on the exchange, you can earn extra income, extra bonuses from the amount of volume you trade with. And then they're offering some of the best initial deposit bonuses in the entire industry. If you deposit $100, you can get a 50% deposit bonus, which is more than double what most exchanges are doing for a $100 deposit. They're giving 20% bonuses up to $1,000 and 10% deposit bonuses up to $20,000, which is double what most exchanges do. If you're interested, I've also partnered with BYDFI to create a Telegram community, and that Telegram community, it's a private community, but it is free. We are pretty active in there. We try to take a lot of trades. Been looking more at scalp trading, looking at getting into some of the altcoins too, especially if we see USDT hit support at that 382. I will be looking for some really nice short opportunities on the altcoins. But if you want to get into that Telegram community, all you have to do is join BYDFI using my affiliate link, deposit the minimum deposit of $100 or more. You can deposit more if you want to get some of the bigger rewards. And then once you've done that, click the Telegram link in the description of this video, or Rpink posted it in the chat. And in that Telegram verify channel, you type in /verify and then your BYDFI user ID. And that'll get you into the Telegram. And once you're in, guys. So /verify your user ID and you'll get into the Telegram. The second partner of the channel is Blowfin, and Blowfin is another non-KYC exchange that I partnered with. Blowfin is offering VIP1 for 30 days. If you deposit just $5, you can get a $10 voucher, and they have some pretty good initial deposit bonuses here. 20% on $100, 10% on $10,000, so you can get up to $1,000 in futures bonuses. It is a way to say thank you to the channel if you sign up with any of these affiliate links. So Blowfin's an option for you guys. I have two KYC exchanges I'm partnered with, being Bybit and MEXC. Bybit's offering up to $30,000 in futures trading bonuses, and MEXC's offering a 10% initial deposit bonus up to $1,000. And then lastly, we have NAMI, which is this momentum and money flow indicator that you see on the bottom of your screen here. And I use NAMI for confirmations on my trades. So like as we're coming up to a key resistance or down to a key support, I'm not just taking a trade because it's a level. I'm looking at the chart at NAMI to see if we have confirmed, for instance, if it's a resistance that we're looking to come up to. I'm looking for confirmed bear divs on the chart. I'm looking for money flow to roll over. Now, since I've been using NAMI as confirmations to get into the trades that are more probable to play out, and not getting into the trades that don't have proper confirmation, my profit margins have increased drastically. NAMI pretty much paid for itself right away. So if you're interested in purchasing NAMI, I've partnered with NAMI to get you guys 50% off. You just click the affiliate link in the description of the video, and when you're checking out on the website, in their promotion discount code box, you type in Divine50 and you can get 50% off that lifetime subscription to NAMI. All right, let's go into Bitcoin real quick here. Guys, I do got to take off in about 15 minutes. But it looks like it's going to be a slow day anyways. What I would be watching for over the weekend, what would be the break of this volume profile. If you start to break back inside this volume profile here, you break below this value area low, or excuse me, value area high, we could see a significant move down. The big break in market structure. So if we zoom out to the 4-hour time frame, the big break in market structure that would be important to me would be that weekend low from last Sunday at 73.7-ish. This guy right here, 73.741. If you break market structure bearishly by taking out that low, that is the big one. This is still at 74.8 is still a break in market structure. But for me, the big one is if you break 73.7, that means to me that this entire impulsive structure from 65K might be done with, and we might see a much bigger correction, at least down to $70,000, where your golden pocket would be. But it also could mean that this A, B, C is done with, and that we're going to actually roll down all the way to take out 60K. You are seeing some bear divs on the chart. You did see the 4-hour bear divs. Money flow's been draining out. If the money flow on Market Cipher crosses into the red, I do think we'll eventually see that dump back inside this volume profile. And if we look at pulling our Fibonacci from our range lows to our range highs, and I put on that 786 Fibonacci, that 786 Fibonacci is just going to be below that liquidity from Tuesday, and that would be a zone where if we do see an SFP into that 786 and then get above that level, I would be interested in a scalp from there. Scalp long. What I would like to see is continuation of like a bit of a consolidation right here and a move up right away. Because we're still looking from last weekend's low at a 1, 2, 3, 4, and I would like to come up before breaking back inside this volume profile. That would mean this impulse would complete. Now, at the end of this impulse, whether it's going to be at 80,100 or 81,000, I will be looking for shorts. The wave 5 could extend a bit to get up to 82.3, 82.5. I'm definitely going to be looking for shorts up here if we get up here. Okay, I'm short from 82.8. Wait, 82.8. I don't think we got up to 82.8 yet. You might. Yeah, I'm not sure. Spitzlet. Short from 82.8. Are you talking about from like months ago? You guys, let's look at our order flow real quick because I do want to show you something on order flow here. If we look at what is happening right now on the order flow, you can see that throughout the day we've been creating this triangle, right? This triangle that we're seeing in here. Now, you could say that it broke and we're chopping underneath it a little bit for the past hour, 2 hours. But as we're creating these lower highs in here, we are creating higher highs on the CVD. That is a bearish CVD divergence. It is on a decrease in open interest, which is more of a sign, less tradable sign. If we were seeing bearish absorption, I would say this is very likely to break down. This is good that we're starting to see this drop pretty aggressively here. But once again, it's just on a decrease in OI. So a lot of positions are closing out. We probably saw a lot of positions trading this triangle. And now that you're breaking and consolidating below it, we're seeing a lot of positions close out here. And as far as our bullish absorption that we were seeing, and I talked about this yesterday with you guys, but the bullish absorption, in my opinion, it's not been invalidated technically yet, but it's pretty much been invalidated. So if we're looking at the bullish absorption from that $74,800 low, you can see we are making higher lows in the price action, and we are making lower lows in the CVD. So that is on a higher time frame bullish CVD divergence. So on the higher time frames, we're seeing bullish. On the more locally, we're seeing a bearish. But when we were seeing this earlier in the week, we were seeing a nice steady increase in open interest. Our open interest now has been dropping very steadily for the past couple of days. And when you see a nice steady increase in open interest with bullish absorption, and then in the middle of that absorption forming, you get a prolonged drop in open interest, it tends to invalidate the bullish absorption. So yes, technically it is still there because we are making lower lows, we are making higher lows, and our open interest is from this level right here where this low was made. I'll throw that on. Where this low was made, you can see your open interest was right here. So we're actually pretty much at break even now, but it is still higher. So it is technically until you take out right here, until you take out this this area, your open interest has not been invalidated yet. But I would say it's pretty much on the in my opinion, it has been because of the prolonged drop in open interest. Now, even more locally, when you're looking at CVD divergences, you want to look at the more local stuff before the larger time frame stuff. And the more locally, we're seeing bearish CVD divergence. It is on a drop in open interest, so there is the possibility that we just continue to chop in here. What would be nice is to just continue to range in this area over the weekend. Maybe all of tomorrow we chop. You know how some Fridays it's like nothing happens. It would be nice if we saw that and then we're able to move up. That's personally what I would want to see. Okay, yeah, can you take a look at a Dash? Yeah, we can look at Dash real quick. I think we looked at Dash last week. Yeah, we did come down to that POC support as well as the golden pocket. You wicked past it a little bit, but you can see we reclaimed it, back tested that POC, and we're just chopping in here. So you're forming a bit of a range, sideways range. let's pull this volume profile. All right, so we got two big ranges in here. We've got our upper range, all of this upper price action. I could even pull this. Actually, I would look at this here. Yeah, so you have your upper range in here, and you can see where's the value area low of that prior range. It's where you rejected back 2 weeks ago on Dash. Unfortunately, on Dash, this smaller range in here, you are falling back inside your volume profile. Yes, you're bouncing from the POC, but be careful to backtest this value area high and roll over and continue to the value area low. So let me hide some of these other ranges. So what I would be looking for is locally, because we're holding the POC, we were able to get back above the POC, hold it as support. We might come up and make new local range highs, like taking out these semi-equal highs right in here at 38. But I would be really watching very, very closely for a rejection in this general area. It's the pitchfork midline. You've lost the pitchfork midline. If you come back up, take that liquidity into your value area high in your pitchfork midline, and you reject here, then you could see that roll over to come down, and you would be looking at overall a 3-wave corrective move to take some local liquidity and then roll over and continue, because this looks impulsive to the downside. So impulse, correction, and then you could get that impulse down. Yeah, let's check out. Man, yeah, and you could come down pretty aggressively to hit those naked dailies. At 33.4, you have a naked daily point of control. At the very least, if you are going to reject here, now you could come a little bit higher to grab this little guy right there at 39.14. So it's kind of a zone between these two liquidity grabs. But if you grab that and then fall below the pitchfork midline, I would be looking for taking out these lows at the very least at $33, 33.5-ish. You would also make some pretty aggressive bear divs. You could see if you're making higher highs here, you'd be making some pretty aggressive lower highs. Money flows crossed into the red as well on the 1 hour. And you would be making some bear div on the 4 hour as well. I'm going to set an alert on this 38 to see. I'll let you guys know in the Telegram if I'm available. I'll let you know if we get that rejection there. That actually could be a decent short. It would be a short just to take out, like say we short this, stop goes above wherever that high went, just to take out that low would be a TP1 for me. Could be a nice little short trade. And then like you see this liquidity resting into the value area low. And if we pull our Fibonacci golden pocket. Wow. Yeah, actually, even if you take out that low into your 786, that would be kind of nice. What I would say, though, is this looks pretty impulsive down right here. And so far, this is looking kind of corrective in here. It is on, this is on high time frame, so this is on the weekly time frame. And let me just go to a different chart so I can show you this cleaner. Dash USDT and Binance. So we were creating some really nice macro bullish divergences on the weekly time frame, right? As you see here, we're making a bunch of lower lows in here. Look at all these higher lows in the momentum waves. Money flow is crossing up into the green here and still heavily going in the green here. So this does look like it was a macro bottom, but remember, in terms of that accumulation pattern, like if this is a bottom range forming right here, you saw a fake out of the range to hit your golden pocket to grab liquidity. And now if we dump back down, even coming near the lows of the range, this could be a super good spot buy on Dash, depending on if we continue to develop. I would want to see some daily bull divs as we're dropping in here. I would want to see daily bull divs coming into that low. So let's just look at this volume. Yeah, because you fell back inside your range. You're at your POC. Now, with the weekly bull divs that are forming, a lot of people will buy at fair value of that accumulation range. This looks like accumulation to me. So a lot of people will probably be buying this POC. Yeah, but you're below your golden pocket, and you can see how pulled from the low to the high, you're below the golden pocket, and actually today, the last couple days you come up and you're rejecting it and you're falling back down. So I don't like how you're doing that. Oh, yes. Okay, thank you, R Pink. Guys, I do got to get going here very soon. Let me check Bitcoin real quick here. Let's see. I bet you nothing has happened since we checked it 5 minutes ago. I mean, we are maintaining above the value area high. It's nice that we're maintaining above the value area high. Mark, welcome in, man. Much love to you. I think you got here right as we were kind of finishing up here. It's been a slow stream today. We really didn't do much. We went through some altcoins, went through some stocks and stuff like that. But overall, guys, let me just give a recap for Bitcoin overall. There is still this from last Sunday, last Sunday's low at 73,750-ish. There is still the possibility that this is a valid impulse. Wave 1, you have your flat in a wave 2. Your wave 3 did come up pretty much to that 1.618. Right? You barely front ran that 1.618, but that's your common wave 3 target. Your wave 4 did come down between, let me just change that. And you hit the 0.5. Remember with yesterday's low, we finally hit that 0.5 target. So that is your wave 4 target between the 382 and the 0.5. Or your wave 4 target between the 0.3 and the 0.5. So there is a possibility that we could now start to see another impulse up to 80, 81. And then of course, if it's an extended fifth, we could come up to that 82.3, 82.5 level where the golden pocket starts. Well, golden pocket starts at 81. But you guys have a good weekend. Remember, if anything happens over the weekend, I have alerts set on a bunch of altcoins from Tuesday's live stream. I have a bunch of alerts set from yesterday's live stream, and we set some alerts on today's live stream. If we do have any of those alerts trigger over the weekend, and I do see a good trading setup for those alerts, I will post in the Telegram whether or not I'm going to take those trades. So if you want to join the Telegram, remember, it's free. All you have to do is join BYDFI using my affiliate link and deposit the minimum deposit of $100 or more. Now, once you've done that, you just click the Telegram link, and in that Telegram channel, type in /verify and then your BYDFI user ID, and it will get you into the Telegram. And once you're in, you're in. But you guys have a good weekend. Much love to you all. Thank you so much for your support. Please hit the like button on your way out if you enjoyed the live stream at all, or if you just want to support the channel. And I will see you guys next week. I think next week is going to be a very important week for Bitcoin. This move up from 65K does look like it's starting to get a little bit exhausted here. And we are coming up into our bigger key resistances, those real big key resistances, where we could get potential swing short opportunities. And these swing short opportunities only come around a few times a year when they could be this big. So let's really focus next week on nailing those trades. I will keep you guys updated in the Telegram, the absolute best that I can. And remember, risk management's the most important thing, so we'll focus on the risk management as well. You guys trade safe over the weekend. Enjoy your weekends. Spend some time with family. Spend some time with friends. And I will see you Monday, unless you're in the Telegram.